Another awesome podcast that I've been waiting to do for the past 3 days. Me and Chris Yancy go way back, and as soon as we started Hardscape Mentor, I knew there was one person I had to team up with to get the best concrete edge restraint on the market in all my members' hands, and that's Perma Edge. So, Chris, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
When I say we go way back, maybe we can touch a little bit about on where we met and how we met, right? Because we both remember that story, right?
Yeah, at the Unilock contractor event
Yep.
in your town there.
Yeah.
And I left with this impression of you were telling me you do all your work, mainly by yourself. And I was just blown away. And at the time, I hadn't seen any pictures.
I mean, this is 5-6 years ago, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Just when I first got started, like year 1 or 2 is when I met you.
Yeah.
With Preston Hardscape Design.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was. I want to say it was 2009, early 2019.
Year 2.
Yep.
Yep.
And it was, and I was just getting started too. It was my first launch with Unilock with Perma Edge, so it was new to me. And honestly, you just meet some people that you just mesh with,
Exactly.
and I felt like that with you from day one. So that was just cool. And then as the time went, I saw your work. I think I've told you for a long time, man. I think you got the sickest designs in the game.
Thank you so much. And I think the connection that we made right away was like we do with a lot of industry guys, right? Is the passion. Right? That when you can just feel the passion go back and forth, right?
Yeah, you can't fake the passion. I mean, there's some things you can fake it to make it, but the passion when it's real, there's just it just comes out, man.
And I would say passion, Chris, had to be a little bit of what led you to the innovation with Perma Edge, right? I mean, a passion for the industry, seeing what was going on in the field with other edge restraints, right? And now here we are with Perma Edge, right?
Absolutely. Not to get too thick on it, a lot of people, and I probably should talk about it more. I've been told by, I think, you and some other guys. I've been hardscaping 30 years, and I haven't promoted my hardscape company. My jump into social media was just Perma Edge. Being a small guy, it was the only way for me to do that. But, not to jump around too much, but
No, but it's good you say you're in the industry. You're an industry guy. Chris's team is still out in the field building stuff every day, right?
They're out today in Ohio. Yeah. And to speak on that, I'm so blessed. A lot of guys don't have that benefit. I run 4 guys. One guy's been with me 15 years. If it was not for him and the guy I got down at my booth right now, I couldn't do this. So I've got to give huge shout out to those guys because they make me look good.
Well, I think it's a big part of your brand to have. You essentially have like in-house research and development, right?
That's you speaking on the passion is I use spiked edgings, and I call them spiked edging because it doesn't really matter if it's plastic or aluminum. It's the spikes that heave, and I used it. It was my biggest pet peeve. Like, man, I'm doing everything by the book, and then some. Just all by the book, and that was the only thing that was letting me down over time.
It was the edge restraint.
Was the edge restraint, and I think we all know it's not a secret, man. It's all of us see those patios that you see the edging, and you're not supposed to. It's amazing the people I run into, and it's not just a lack of knowledge. I run into guys that have been hardscaping 10 years that are putting their edging on top of the bedding layer. Like, they don't realize that the main purpose of edging is to dam in the bedding layer. It's not really essentially to hold the paver in as much as the bedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that came from. I did the spikes. I got sick of that. I did a short course in Columbus, Ohio one day, and I ran into guys that I'm using concrete. And I was like, yeah, we've always heard that's a big no-no, just regular concrete because of the freeze thaw. And so that's what transitioned. I gave it a shot. I liked it a little better in plastic, but as I checked on it, there was too much cracking and things like that. So that's what led me to all in all, I probably totally spent about 7 years like adding my own admixtures, doing field tests, because being my own industry, right? Like if you're a corporate guy and you want to, hey, I'm going to create this new product, I'm not going to say they don't care at all, but if it doesn't work, oh, well, I tried. This is my industry, man. This is where my heart is. If I'm bringing something, it's got to work.
I'm talking about the passion right there.
It's got to work.
A passion and then a problem you were seeing in the field, right?
Yeah.
That's what led to the creation of Perma Edge paver edging. And I'm glad you said that. And you're totally here to promote your brand, Chris. That's why I brought you in, and that's why I love having you. I'm proud to have you as a sponsor of the herd because no one should be using spiked edging anymore. Right?
No, I don't see a reason for it at all. And, especially with the development of clear base, open graded base. I mean, we were using on dense base with sand. That's kind of where we really started development because I wasn't even doing clear base at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting you say that because lots of guys think, I'll use my Perma Edge when I get to an open graded system, and I'll use my spikes when I'm in a dense graded system.
Right.
It's like that's not even how it started.
No, not at all. You should be using it on both. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's how they developed. I got serious, got some engineers, some guys smarter than me, right? I'm throwing these concoctions together.
Finally, you're like, I need someone else to help me with this.
Yeah. So once we got it kind of nailed down, I interviewed like 5 engineers, and we talk about these stories that impact your life. I was getting worn out because every engineer's like, you could just tell they weren't into what I was doing. And a guy worked for a local excavation. He had engineered some very large, like literally $5 billion bridges, this guy. And a guy said, hey, meet with this guy. Met him at Waffle House, 5 in the morning. And an hour later, I'm calling my wife almost in tears. I found the guy.
Found him.
He was into what I was doing. Wow. He believed in it, and it gives me. I get goosebumps because that how you like run into this like little roadblocks. You're like, how's this gonna work?
I think there's no way out.
No way out.
Yeah.
And so he just from the minute I told him he had edging at his house, and he's like. The guy's literally, for a guy like him, it's like, hey, I could probably write down a potion for you in 5 minutes. So he's like, hey, you come fix the edging on my walkway. Literally.
I'm glad I didn't know some of this story, so that's awesome.
I guess I don't,
No, that's
talk
great,
about
though. It's just cool to see, the story of Perma Edge because, like, where you are right now, man, you're an industry leader in the category. That's a fact. So to hear this backstory.
That's humbling. I appreciate that.
100% you are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
You got with this what was his? He was an engineer. Right?
Yeah,
and that took everything to the next level. That
led into I kind of already was working with some of the admixtures that we currently use in Perma Edge, but like the mounts and the potion.
Yeah.
What's the right potion? And so after we came up with that, we did extensive testing, third party, University of Dayton, which we still use today.
Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, and so that's when I went into like really field testing the product at my house, some jobs, things like that. And I tell you, I talk about this quite a bit, and some people know and don't. They always like, hey, what's the difference between concrete?
I was just going to ask you.
Or some of these like
because we can sit here all day and promote it, but people are just going to throw it off as another concrete edge restraint, and that's exactly not what it is, right?
No, and I, concrete or I'm going to call them knockoffs because really that's what they are. There's a lot of that out there, and I get it.
That's why I said you're a leader.
But we first the first formula had. Limestone aggregates, which almost all concretes are 80% aggregate, gravel and sand. The other 20% is Portland cement. And what we found, I was just using pea gravel and concrete sand. But although the naked eye can't really see that, those aggregates will absorb water and moisture. They're a porous aggregate. If you soak them in water, you can pull them out, and they weigh a little more because that moisture. The aggregate in Perma Edge is non-porous, and that's very important. It's part of why we cost a little more. Those aggregates are 80% more than porous aggregates, and the big benefit of that. So we did testing with porous at limestone. Once we got to the freeze thaw testing, that's when the engineer's like, hey, that's so wet. If we can get that drier, 80% of that matter in there. that's going to be a game changer. Now, the benefit to a porous aggregate is the Portland bonds into those pores. So what we did is use admixtures to get it to bond to the aggregate in ours.
Yeah.
So it was just these little curves and testing, and then once I was like, hey, this is it, and we kind of hit the ground.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I hope everyone could just see the passion that has led to this. I mean, the research and development, the Dayton University stuff, I had no idea. Like, you've been grinding away at this, right? And I would say, to some extent, it's been paying off for you, Chris. I say you're a leader in the industry, but you have been making your mark in the industry. People know Perma Edge. You're always set up at HNA. So how's HNA going this year, right? The largest networking event we got, right?
I feel it's been a really good year. Just the connections, the networking, what we were at last night, the things like that. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I know, same with you. What you're doing, what getting to watch and be a part of what you created, your passion. I mean, it goes both ways, man. To see the grind, what you and Luke are doing, and from the hardscape to your passion to educate others. It's humbling. I'm grateful to be a part of this, for sure.
Thank you so much. And Perma Edge and Chris Yancy are exactly the type of affiliations and partners we want to bring on board with Hardscape Mentor, because we're the direct source to get the correct product and the right product in the hands of these new hardscapers. So Chris has been so fortunate enough to sponsor our live monthly masterminds, and we're sending out buckets to Perma Edge to guys to get them to try it for the first time and see all the benefits right there on their site in person, and trying to get them right out the gate going with the best product on the ground, right?
Absolutely.
So we're super proud to have Chris as a partner with Hardscape Mentor. We feel this is the beginning. He's going to help us grow. If you can already see that Chris's idea and his passion, that's how he's built his Perma Edge brand. So thank you so much for joining us, Chris. What an awesome year at HNA this year. I love hanging out with you every time. And anyone has any questions or anything about Perma Edge, how do they get a hold of you, man?
So they can either call our office. We're old school like that too. Call us. So that's 844-4-EDGING.
Nice.
Or you can email us. You can email me personally, Chris at perma-edge.com. Or a lady that works in our office, Joey at perma-edge.com. And our website. That's permaedge.com as well.
Yeah.
Easy to find. And I'd like to mention, Dan, I know very aware of premium product and premium packaging. Buckets is the way I wanted to go from Jump Street.
I was going to say, we can touch on that a little bit. I don't want guys to be hung up on the cost, right? And I think that's kind of a hang-up for some of these guys. But what I always tell them is, like, we're providing high-quality everything else, right? We're using unilock pavers. We're using open-graded base systems. Like, we're giving them an innovative design. It's quality across the board. The edge restraint has to be quality too, and the right clients are paying for all that quality, right? So it's not expensive because you're not paying for it; your client is paying for it.
It absolutely how it should be. And we wanted to create that. A straight up question. In your time, I know you use quite a bit of Perma Edge.
Yeah.
Have you ever opened a bucket and the product not be ready to perform for you?
Oh, not at all. No, I mean, the product is foolproof, and it's like we never want to hang up. If I go to open the bucket, it's like it's going down right that day. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And the benefit to that, that was just the main reason, right? Who wants to open up? I'm not going to throw polysand under the bus, but how many times have you left the bag out? It's hardened.
Yeah.
You don't have enough to finish the project. Now you're taking a trip, and we want jobs to be smoothly as possible. Yeah. That said, I know you and a lot of other guys are like, hey, we don't care. We want to use the buckets, but we did have a lot of demand from some guys for the bags.
I was going to say, we can get the bag situation out there. We went with the bag route for a little while. I've seen guys been using them. How's the feedback been going with the bags?
It is a mixed hat,
bag.
man.
I mean, it's just good to have that. You were hearing it,
right?
So you made a change, right? And I just want to touch on one thing you said about being old school or a little bit more available than the next guy is what I appreciate about you, man. I can sit the owner and the inventor of Perma Edge down in my booth. Like, I don't think a lot of these other big brands or even some of the competition, I'd be able to have an open line of communication with. So I just have to get that out there as well, man.
I appreciate, so many guys will call and be like, "Oh, you're the owner." I'm like, to me, it's like, I'm like, I'll blush because it's like I don't feel that, And I get it though, Maybe if I was busier than I was, I couldn't vet calls all the time. But man, I'm going to try my best to do that. And kind of back to the passion is, my goal overall was to create something that would help us all install better projects, and I believe we've done that part, so that it makes me extremely happy, And so, but the demand, like for the bags, I listen. I also want to listen.
Exactly.
Like maybe the bags aren't for everyone, but there was a high enough amount of guys said, you know what, I got to listen to the people that want to use my product. Yeah. Some people want the bags that are a little lighter, not as safe. Got to be more careful.
Yeah.
Save a little money, but hey, if I try to listen.
Oh yeah.
And
that's what I think the most successful brands out there, probably in any industry, but the ones in the hardscape industry, the most successful products out there are the ones that are about the people first, right? That's kind of the theme that's been coming through my booth here. When I talk to Weston from Synced Up, right? When I talk to anybody from Unilock, right? We're all talking about the people and the industry, right? So I'm going to say what makes a successful brand, even in your own design build brand, all the way to a manufacturer, is being passionate about the industry and directly communicating and caring about the people, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I think some of us, I probably learned that the hard way.
Yeah, right.
Early on, I didn't communicate with my hardscape company early on. Like, I'm busy, but it's the people. And even on the design, you do so much design work for people, and you're the professional, so you got to lead them. But at the end of the day, it's their house, so you've got to take it all into consideration. What they're saying.
No doubt, you're going to be a success with passion and being a man of the people, and Chris Yancy is definitely a man of the people. I would call you a pillar in the hardscape industry, man. That's a fact. A leader in the edge restraint game, and a member of the herd, right? I mean, Chris
and you're a friend, Dan. We from Jump Street, man, we just connected, and I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So not only a sponsor and an affiliate of Hardscape Mentor, but a lifelong friend of mine. So Chris, thanks for joining us in the booth. We'll let you get back and man your booth, but it's been a pleasure as always, man. I run into Chris at every single one of these events, and I can't wait for what the future holds for Hardscape Mentor and Perma Edge.
Same to you, Dan. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.